uh,
Ladies
and
and gentlemen,
germs and everyone else.
we're back.
We're back and in video,
Uh,
not together because
not together,
the big city, but but yeah,
but
no, welcome to the first video normal episode. Purvis, we had a
solving
big
this
one
up
this
as
week.
awkward as we can.
This was a big week for us. We had a big
This
week.
is a big week for us.
Yeah, the Golden Nugget special just drops.
Yep, this was probably the biggest week for us yet. What was that? 4 days ago now. Time is flying by.
So fast.
But
It was the third and it's the fifth. So it was not yesterday but the day before.
yeah.
Oh,
And I must say, it was exciting. It
it
really
was
was
good.
getting a lot of
It was
interaction.
good.
A lot of
A
my
lot of
friends shared
interaction.
it.
Got a
And I
lot of
just
shout
think the
outs.
quality came out amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm
I'm
very satisfied.
so happy with it. Also, for those who can't tell, Jasper's also here.
Hello.
Yeah, he's a ghost host this week.
Yeah.
So
We'll get him on camera eventually.
we'll get him on camera as soon as he has a camera. Like,
All right.
or a webcam, per se.
But I must say it's good to be back. Now we going forward, we're gonna have Jasper with us.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Jasper, do you want to do any other introductions that you weren't able to get out before?
Yeah.
Boy, I'm Jasper. I did the audio video last week around or last time around, and this time there's none of that. So I'm just here as a big Pusha T enthusiast for our little topic today.
Yeah. Well, after the roaring success and effort of the end of the year podcast, we were like, do we just want to do a deep dive in an album we've all heard 100 times?
Yeah. It's like
God,
something
yes.
real light this week.
You know, something.
It won't be hard to get through.
Something not only light but also like a layup. This is going to be a very easy episode to make good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to. And on top of all of that, like, we have a ton of news. We haven't done.
Yeah, we haven't done a news
episode.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks since we've done the news. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. So there's a lot to catch up on through the holidays.
It didn't feel like it to us because we were doing the special, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's nice to get back in this format.
Oh yeah, it's like therapy but free.
I was trying to think what's the hardest way for us to come in, like being as awkward as possible now that this video, and I think we nailed it.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah. But jumping right into everything, I think we should start off with the news.
Yeah, first news of 2023. Let's get it.
I'm gonna let you know now. It is pretty terrible start.
Not good. Not good.
It's not much going on. As much as we mean this person, it's here. French Montana is dropping an album. But lucky enough,
Coke Boys 6.
To give it some positivity, it's a DJ Drama
mixtape. No, the DJ Drama mixtapes are on a great roll.
They haven't had a bad one, in my opinion.
And like French Montana is not an artist that like sticks out to me as someone who is like over the top bad. My thing is that like, were there 5 of these? Were there 5 of these?
I don't know.
Coke Boys 6? This is the first time I've heard of this mixtape series. Like,
well, it might be the best one yet.
Like, I've been aware of, who knows,
didn't even think about that.
Maybe. Like, to be fair, like, I didn't hear about Hitler Wears Hermes until like 7, so it's like fair.
It's very different though.
It's very different.
It's a much nicer quality. But yeah, that's like the main event, unfortunately, happening. Yeah. But like I said, DJ Drama might save it. Who knows?
Surely. I mean, like, who knows? Who knows? Like, are you going to listen to this? Are you going to listen to the French Montana DJ Drama mixtape?
I don't want to say no.
Be honest with me. Look me in my eyes. We're on video now. Stare at me and tell me, are you going to listen to this French Montana mixtape?
Only if Nav is featured.
Yeah.
Low key? No, I'm just playing. I probably won't listen to it.
Low key, like,
if I do, it's gonna be like way down the line.
I mean, French Montana is better than Nav. Like,
you're wrong.
I don't know who's on the Work remix. I rest my cake.
Hey, we're gonna get into one of the news later. You'll be surprised by a stat that I know you hate.
Oh, you're gonna hate my response to this.
But anyway, the other main event coming out. Honestly, I wish like my life was as consistent as NBA YoungBoy releasing albums.
Dude,
he's releasing another album.
Old Faithful.
I don't understand. Like, I don't think if you follow the podcast, you may not even have noticed that. Like, I wasn't mentioning some of the NBA YoungBoy albums last year because they were over double digits. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but this man has been very consistent. It's been like maybe 2 a month at this point.
Yeah, I mean, can I counter argue you?
No, I don't think this is good.
Never,
by the way.
Never broke it. What part of never broke again do you not understand? Like,
I guess you have to say it in multiple ways. I just don't get it. There's no way, and I'm not even gonna like hate on NBA YoungBoy fan because I think his music is legit. But like, I don't see how someone can listen to this and take like actual substance out of it because you don't even have time to digest one of the albums.
But I think that's like why there's so many and why it's kind of okay, in my opinion, is because you're right. There's nothing to digest.
It's just,
I mean,
you might as well just listen to a bunch of beats.
I mean, like, and my thing is that I don't think that this is like an illegitimate form of expression. Like, you know, like I think if you just want to make music for people to get hyped to for 2 weeks, that's fine. That's literally what disco and house music is. Like,
yeah, but disco and house music is literally like actual. And when I say this, I don't mean this like as a negative way towards NBA YoungBoy, but it's literally just music. Like DJ and house music, it's just like mostly the instruments that come out of it. There's some lyrics, but like it's most of the instruments. So it's okay if it's just like nothing to really digest for 2 weeks. But like this is supposed to be.
I think my point was that it's released in 2 weeks because like it's meant to be heard and like interacted with in the form of like dancing and like partying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
young
why
boy out here setting the new micro trends.
Yeah, no, and it's like, look, I'm not a fan of NBA YoungBoy. Once again, I think he's far from like the worst rappers. You know, yeah, far from the bottom, but not one I particularly enjoy either. And yeah, like I think it's fine that he drops all these mixtapes. Reminds me of a lot of Lil B back in the day.
Is that good or bad?
Who's to say?
Yes.
As soon as you said it, I was like, yeah.
Who's to say? Oh my god.
All right. Solid argument. But moving on to the singles. We have Skrillex featuring Trippie Redd and Pink Panthers. I just realized I'm probably so loud. Yeah. This is exciting for me. This would be like a really nice club turn-up song.
You like it?
I'm not expecting too much out of it.
I've just never liked Skrillex or dubstep or anything like that.
I was literally going to say, when was the last time either one of you listened to dubstep? Like actually
never. I've always actively avoided it. The only kind of dance music I've ever liked was house music.
Interesting. So any kind of electronic
I think it's fine, like when you're fucked up and having a fun time. Like it
like
serves
in real life, it's okay.
It serves its I think it's great and it's in the context it's meant to be listened to. But even in that context, I don't like dubstep. Like I remember when I used to
EDM, nothing.
No, not all EDM, just dubstep specifically. Okay. You know, because it's a very recognizable and unique one. I would say I'm not huge into electronic music, but I can tell a dubstep song a mile away. You know, It's like jazz rap. You know, it's like
jazz rap.
In that, like, you know, it's jazz rap within 20 seconds of it going on.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, this isn't gangster rap the second it starts.
Okay,
that's what I mean by that.
Alex,
what about you, Jasper? You give me dubstep vibes.
do be liking electronic. I do have a regular EDM playlist, and I also run to a lot of EDM. I sent you guys a link to like a work in progress playlist I have right now. It's got some stuff that's dubstep and some stuff that's just kind of like all over the place. It's got like more like pop EDM. We got drum and bass on there. We got
Ooh, I like
a whole
drum and
lot of
bass.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now. Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've been into that shit for a while. I saw Avicii's first ever US tour in 2013. His first stop on the tour was Chicago,
Oh,
right
wow.
after he did B96 Jingle Bash the year before. And it was like a big success. So when he started his US tour for the beat or what is it, the True album, he did
Yeah.
it starting in Chicago. So I went to that show and it was amazing. He was like the first person to ever play Martin Garrix's Animals live because he had a remix, but the song wasn't out yet. So he did that. It's crazy.
That's cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, that's
It was a
pretty
good
cool.
show.
All right, you're gonna put us on EDM.
Yeah,
Set it down.
I mean, like I've heard.
I'll
enough.
give myself like a month.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check something out that is dubstep that I've been messing with lately, Must Die, MUST, like Must Space Die as like an artist name. Super good. Saw him at Concord like what 5 years ago now, but super consistent, solid stuff.
All right.
But-
All right.
Okay.
I'll give
I
that.
will most definitely give that.
I'll give that a try, but the dubstep road is one well worn for me. Like,
I was actually gonna say, like, my connection to dubstep is like the Call of Duty days when you're in like middle school, high school. You just go home and play Call of Duty. That's literally all you did. So that's what I think when I think of strip.
I had-
Like
Do you
a
mean
montage
the
or
days
something.
of that and also the days of Borderlands 2 advertising using Euro's Doomsday, which was
Yeah.
constantly on repeat on TV? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the shit that got worn in real quick.
yeah.
You know how I feel about Borderlands.
My thing is
Yeah.
that like I always like had friends who were super into electronic music. You know,
Mhm.
like to the point where that was their bread and butter music. That was the thing they listened to most of the time, which is fine. That's a totally cool thing. But like,
No, yeah, I was really about to say some of
but
my
it's
friends
just-
do it.
yeah, no,
and plays it all
totally
the time.
cool thing. Like one of the normal, like bread and butter genres of music. But I've been exposed to a lot of it. It's how I know. Like I love French house and I love regular house, which is from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
And synthwave, love synthwave, love like synth pop stuff like that.
Ooh, I have a synth playlist I should send you guys too.
Ooh, send me
But that'll be
synth
yeah.
stuff I fuck with because it's very vibey.
We are
and it's-
becoming diverse.
Yes, sir.
I'm diversifying my bonds. I have a goal. My goal is to get 20 rock songs into Purvis's vault.
I have
So-
way more than 20 rock songs in my vault.
I'm trying
I
to
have
get
a
you
ton of rock songs.
Okay, I'm trying to get you 20 more.
This playlist,
And
I
maybe
have
I
this
up
called
that. Maybe
Power
I up
Synth.
that. I had no idea.
I mean,
I've
I
had-
have plenty of room for improvement. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I have double rock recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess moving on from
Yeah.
there,
Little tangent, but who cares? That's what a podcast
we
is
have.
for.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Popcan, I discovered today. I might have mispronounced it. I'm not too sure.
No, I think you got it right.
But he's signed to OVO. I had no idea.
I had no idea he was signed to OVO. I'm not like a
Yeah.
big fan, but I've been aware of him for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. I just kind of found out today he was signed to OVO, and I think some other labels were like a mixed contract everywhere.
Is it like a new development, or is it like he's been on OVO for a while?
At least from what I gathered, I didn't dive too deep because once I saw OVO, I was like, "Oh, this actually clicks." But I don't know how long he's been signed, what his involvement is prior to it or whatever. But I did notice OVO and like 3 other labels, maybe like a co-sign or something. But regardless, he's coming out with a single as well, featuring Drake himself, signing to OVO.
October's
It's
very
called-
own.
October's very own, called We Can Done or We Ca Done. It's like CAA.
Yeah.
I had to literally double check the spelling because I wasn't sure. But I'm sure this will be extremely vibey.
This will be vibey. This will be good. This will be
yeah.
fun. This will be fun.
Most definitely.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Probably hear it at a club soon.
Yeah.
Besides that, I wanted to again start bringing back the UK stuff. Stormzy featuring Flo is coming out with a remix for a song. Couldn't figure out the title, but Stormzy obviously is one of the like head people you think about with UK grime and things like that.
Yeah. One of the biggest names in
Dave,
it right
a couple
now.
of people like that. Exactly. So I'm fully excited for this. But moving on to what I consider the highlight of the news this week.
Absolutely.
Just before we started, I know this, or I knew prior that this came out yesterday, and it is a YouTube exclusive, so you can only find it on YouTube. Quavo has dropped his first song since Takeoff passed away. The title is Without You. As you can imagine, it is kind of a tribute song for Takeoff and his passing. But I took time to watch it before starting the podcast, and halfway through I had to pause it. I told everyone else to watch it. This is powerful.
It is
This is
powerful.
actually really nice.
It's a really effective song. It's really, really good. I
Yeah.
really hope this gets an official release because I do not want to have to go to YouTube to listen to this because
Yes.
it's such a good song. And it's kind of, it's sad. It is like a sad song, but like, yeah.
It just, I don't know. It fits the way it's constructed. I love the idea of the Migos, even though they're not necessarily the Migos right now, but a Migos style of trap music actually being more emotional, passionate type of music. Because it sounds like a Migos type of song. It sounds
does,
like
yeah.
a Quavo song.
Yeah, it does not
seem weird or fake.
I would forgive him for wanting to go in this a completely different like direction for something so sentimental. That's something I'd be very willing to go with. But he doesn't.
And that's what I'm saying.
As emotionally affecting and appropriate as it is, it still does sound like a Quavo song. Like it does not sound like him experimenting or going in a new route, as understandable as that would be. So it's a banger. I full recommend.
Absolutely,
full recommend. There's no reason not to listen to it. If you're watching this show,
right?
What are you doing? Like,
takes note.
You know why you're here.
You know why you're here.
Exactly. Okay, going into the full news breakdown. This is where we get a lot of different stuff that's transpired in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, we got
starting off, unfortunately,
with some really bad news.
Starting off on a sadder note, Brandon, can you break this down for me?
Yeah, so we had a really tragic loss in the hip hop community this past week with the passing of Gangsta Boo. I forget how old she is. I'm not going to pretend to be the biggest fan in the world, but I am a fan. Like I'm familiar with her work with 3 6 Mafia. That's a legendary hip hop group. She's the only female member. She is a cultural staple. She's one of the best female MCs of all time. And she passed real young. It's really a shame.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
This ruined my week because I love Gangsta Boo. I can't believe we lost such a good one so early.
Yeah, I was going to say myself, I wasn't too familiar with all of her music. I do plan on going back now, which I'm excited to kind of finally be able to experience that, get to see the backstory of everything and how she's impacted the culture in general.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's been any kind of news in terms of if the funerals happened already? Anything else around that, or the group saying something maybe?
I haven't heard anything like that. This has been a very news heavy week around across the board. With what's happening in the Senate or the House right now and everything. And not to mention the fact that I am extremely busy at work and I have not done anything but listen to music and work. So I haven't followed really anything, so I really haven't heard this. But this was enough to break through. And it hurts, man. I'm not in a good mood because of.
It's not a good way to start the year.
Not a
I'll say that.
Not a good start to the year.
Was this year?
I'm not
or was
sure.
it 10?
I'm not sure. I think it was this year. I think it was very recent. Yeah, but like this.
It was literally January 1st. Wow. It was the first of the year. What a terrible way to start the year. Jesus.
Yeah.
Dead at 43.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, unfortunately with that loss, but moving on to the next thing, some more sad news, not on the same scale, but Lil Yachty's entire album, Sonic Ranch,
Yeah.
was leaked. I was
This is
trying to do
sucks.
some, yeah, I was trying to do some research on this in terms of like how far it might have been in the development, but this is terrible, man. Like
Yeah.
it really is. This is probably like one of the worst feelings I think an artist can go through.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This is
obviously,
shitty. It's stealing years of an artist's work. You know, and like, look,
for fame, like you don't even gain anything from that. Like,
yeah, like,
it's just
yeah, it's not like you
negativity
can
and
turn around and sell it.
exactly.
It's just for the clout. And I think the sad reality is that it's probably someone close to him.
Oh yeah, in most cases it literally is, and I feel like as a Playboy Cardi fan, we go through a lot of leaks. And a lot of times when it comes out, you kind of figure out it's someone close to you and someone that you trusted. So stuff like this really sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for Lil Yachty, even though we may not give him the highest of praises. I love Lil Yachty.
Oh, I think he's a
He's
great dude.
Stand-up character.
Oh, 100%. I think he's a stand-up dude. I think like he's a good dude. Look, he was on my top 10 songs of the year.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I don't fuck the heaviest with Lil Yachty's music, but I have a whole lot of respect for him.
Right. One of the nicest guys out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is hard to compare people to Mac Miller, but it's kind of like it's always a nice stand-up dude. No one really hates on Lil Yachty. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
So.
And the other thing is that, like, once again, not the biggest fan of like his music, especially like the music he releases, but I'm a fan of his production.
I mean, he has a bunch. He was the producer on Her Loss, one of the major producers.
Yeah, I think he did a good job.
He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, no, like the song that's like he's really heavily featured on is one of the better songs in the album. I re-listened to Her Loss this week because it was just like, Jesus Christ,
it's a good album. It's a good album.
Dude, I was at
made it in my top 10.
I was
a good album.
I was at my desk for 6 hours and I went through, you know, Conway, Benny, both West Side Gun albums from last year. I was like, let's just do all the good ones. Stove God Cooks finally got to his Rome Streets.
You need to get to Action Bronson's.
I did listen to Action Bronson's. I gotta revisit it. I like half listened to it. I remember really liking the beat selection. So that's probably something I'll listen to tonight because I have a night shift. Like,
I have to ask, and part of it, Jasper, if this is just bold to don't ask this. You know who Action Bronson is? Do you like follow him? Do you like his music?
What do you mean? Do I know who Action Bronson
is? Thank you. Okay.
Get out of here.
Dude,
I'm on your show, aren't I?
Action Bronson's one of my inspirations.
A lot of people don't know Action Bronson, and if I'm being honest,
that's
I
crazy.
didn't know who he was until like maybe a couple of years ago.
That's crazy. I know people who know Action Bronson from things that have nothing to do with hip hop.
I used to have a pair of his Ultra Boosts, and I'm going to get you his cookbook for your birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Someone behind me had his cookbook at the office. I'm going to order that soon.
It's dope, yeah.
Yeah.
The Action Brandon season is in full effect.
Dude, that's me. That's me. Dude, I cook up a storm. I'm like, just saying, long-term goal of this show is if we can get Action Bronson for a cooking episode. Like,
that will be peak.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
Like,
I don't even care about the podcast.
Could you imagine like an
episode like that?
Could you imagine like you and me?
First we feast, and the unpaid nobodies present Action Bronson.
Like we make a shit ton of Italian beef.
Dude, at that point, I don't care about anything. I'm cooking with Action Bronson.
That's
peak entertainment.
You heard it here first. Oh my god, you heard it here first, folks. Long-term goals of the unpaid nobody cooking episode with Action Bronson. It's gonna be the same show. We're gonna go over the news. We're gonna make fun of Purvis for liking Nav. Purvis is gonna roll his eyes whenever I say the word belly.
Like it is what it is.
Yeah. Like, Oh my god.
That's pretty dope. Okay.
Let's go.
Another big thing that's been going on. Brandon.
Yeah.
J. Cole emptied. There's no posts. Nothing. Not
Instagram feed.
Zip.
First
on
off,
his Instagram feed.
First off, I hate that this is a news item. Not because it's not unimportant. Because it is a sign of things to come. But I just hate that we spend so much time on social media that it's like, uh-oh, there's no J. Cole pictures anymore.
Like, we know what's going on here. All the signs are here. It's dropping. No, I'm very, very excited. It does line up with his release timeline, to be honest. It's been what, 2 years now?
Yeah.
And it's January, which is always kind of around his birthday, his release time. It's either end of the year, December, beginning of January.
It would be 2 years in April since the off season.
Yep. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Man, the off
I
season.
don't know what to expect less. Because like low key, J. Cole's one of those people. It's like Kendrick, like you don't know what the actual peak is. They can just keep going. Every time they come back, it's like, oh Jesus.
My question is like, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be another sports? Do you think it's going to be called like Week 1? That'd be dope.
Well, okay. Well, there's a whole like conspiracy theory behind all of this. The next album's supposed to be called "It's a Boy." It's on his timeline. It was on the sheet. He wrote down all the albums he was going to be releasing. Next up is called "It's a Boy." I think it's supposed to be like him giving birth or something.
Wait, like was all of them like on there? Like,
it's big. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I love conspiracy. I love conspiracy. Like, you can't see this wall covered with conspiracies. Covered pictures of lizard people.
Man's got thread between different little pins.
Dude, my girlfriend can't yarn anymore. She can't knit anymore because I just use her yarn for conspiracies. I assure you.
Just a meme of you sitting there every day, just like losing your mind trying to explain it.
That's me. That's me.
That
Charlie meme?
Conspiracy worth getting into.
It makes that seem normal. Like.
Oh man, this is okay. Well, you and your conspiracy can stay in your room. Don't bring it outside.
I don't.
Because if you do, you might go to jail. Like our next news segment. Young Thug was found guilty.
Jesus Christ! Amazing.
Where was that transition energy when we were starting out today?
Yeah, amazing, vivid. Like, first off.
I couldn't hold it together. I was gonna try so hard to pull it off.
Like, great commentary on the fascist nature of our police state. Like,
but as I was trying to push through, Young Thug was found guilty on 8 out of 65 charges. Jesus Christ, this is just terrible. He's getting no look at all.
Yeah.
I really hope no one snitched on anything just for their own sake.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I am not a legal expert. And I do not know if it is bad that he got convicted for 8 whole crimes. I don't know if it's good that he dodged 57 charges. I mean, I assume that...
I'm going to look at the 57 charges.
I assume the smaller the better, and there's only 7 smaller numbers. So it's like, well, I guess 8. But like, so I don't know. Like, and it also depends on what the charges are and like what the things are. So
there was a breakdown. You actually can find out.
Okay, that's good. Because that's something, once again, very busy news week.
Yes.
Across the board.
Well, I actually was just thinking about what you both said about only 8 of the 65 or whatever. If it's a RICO case, then potentially that may not hold, because if it's considered like criminal organization, if someone else was found to be guilty of something else, that can apply to all members. So we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, RICO's a bitch.
I didn't even know that. Well, I found about RICO last year when all this just started. Remember, I didn't even know what even this was. Like, I didn't know what anything was.
I'm Italian. I learned about RICO when I'm 7.
Yeah. since the 80s, like that's
Italian
like
and Cuban. What a combination.
Yeah, we're the Rico case people. That's what we are. Like,
it's in my blood.
You're technically, Purvis, they're appropriating my culture. I'm kidding. Don't.
Nice. This is the route we're gonna take here. Well, okay, now I have to ask it so I can get some background information. So you're Cuban and Italian, correct? I am obviously black. Jasper, what do you mix with? What are you?
Oh boy, I am.
Here we go.
Let's see.
This is gonna be the
say more than 5. If you say more than 5, I'm gonna be concerned.
It's just white.
No. I'm just like trying to narrow it down.
Yeah.
So I'm what's called Black Irish on my dad's side, which is not what it sounds like. It's Irish people who do not have red hair.
Okay.
And
don't have red hair.
It's basically people who were Spanish who then came to Ireland and settled.
I didn't even know that transpired in history. I'm learning. I don't know what a Black Irish is. I have an Irish friend. I've never heard of Black Irish.
There you go. So yeah, if you ever meet an Irish person with dark hair, that's like where that comes from usually.
I heard about it.
And then
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna meme the hell out of this.
Yeah.
I have a friend. Oh, I can't wait for this.
Go for it.
Wait for this.
And then so that's like my dad's side, and then my mom's side is like Russian Jewish and Hungarian.
Oh, that's cool.
So Eastern and Western Europe, pretty much.
Purvis, do you want a crazy history fact? This blew my mind. Because I got down the rabbit hole of like trying to cast Kratos in the new God of War series.
Yeah.
And my pick is Digimon Hansu. And did you know that ancient Greece had a larger population of African people living in it than America does? And America has black people.
No.
Ancient Greece had like...
You said higher percentage?
Yeah. They had like 17% of like people living in ancient Greece were from Africa, Ethiopia. Because it was
that does not surprise me.
Yeah, because it's right there.
That explains why the Olympics exist. Because black people were there.
Yeah. It's like, so like, I was like, so I went down the rabbit hole of like, if I have to defend my casting of a black man as Kratos, I'm going to Google this. And then I did.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow. Like,
low-key, Kratos was black the whole time. I saw it.
He could have, like, there's literally like no historical accuracy reason. Then again, like, it's God of War. Historical accuracy is just out the window. But like,
I actually, believe it or not, I actually watched, you know how we go down these YouTube rabbit holes. I've already done some crazy insight, like, on like the whole God of War series, the newest one, the casting, everything. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've, like, seen him cry on set when he's doing that scene.
Oh, Christopher Judge?
Amazing.
He's good. The guy I'm talking about is a screen actor. He's not Christopher Judge.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Blood Diamond?
Maybe.
He's also in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in a bunch of movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jasper, do you know who he's talking about?
Digimon Hansu.
They're not casting fucking Dave Bautista as Kratos, are they?
No.
Okay.
Which I would be okay with. Dave Bautista is the best actor to come out of the WWE. Fight me.
That's valid, but it would just be that'd be interesting.
Was it The Rock?
Too many WWE?
I don't know.
No, The Rock would be a horrible Kratos.
Okay, but The Rock is like probably more successful.
He's more successful. Well, first off, like, define successful, because like
we're going too deep down the rabbit hole here.
Okay.
No, you can't. You gotta let me finish. You put the quarter in. You gotta listen to the song. I'm sorry. Like,
I'm sorry.
I mean, think about this though. Like, Batista's never had a bomb like Black Adam.
That's true.
Is Black Adam a bomb? I've never seen it. I don't see it. Essentially, is what you're saying.
That's my point. It had a bigger budget than Avengers, and that's what you just said. Yeah, that's my point. Like, The Rock I think he's good at what he does, but like he's very clearly limited. Like,
okay, I'll give you that.
All right.
Back to hip hop.
Wherever
that was going.
That's far from the longest. Tangent we've gone on. Like,
that's fine. Moving on. I don't know, Brandon. This is good news, bad news, news. Tory Lanez is confirmed guilty.
Yeah.
He is now in jail for up to 23 years.
Now here's the thing, right?
Wow.
Now here's the thing, right? I am. I'm what you would call a prison abolitionist. I think our prison system is inhumane and ineffective. First off, like if your goal is just to reform criminals, it's just bad at doing that. Like, you know, I kind of prefer the term prison revolutionary because, like, clearly you always have to have a place to put like the rapist, like, or a guy who shoots a girl in the foot. Like, clearly there always has to be a place to put those people. But our current prison system is so inhumane. I would never celebrate somebody going. No matter how shitty that the people who support this guy are, and how clearly guilty he is. Like, that's my point. I'm not going to celebrate a black man going to jail because I am a prison abolitionist.
That's fine.
But you know, like he's clearly guilty.
Had it coming to him.
He had it coming.
I was gonna say you're just gonna say that.
Yeah, he had it coming. Like I have, you know, I'm not going to celebrate it, but I also don't have a whole lot of sympathy.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Jasper, do you have any opinions on this?
I mean, I tend to agree. I think the British had it figured out best when instead of executing anybody or putting them in prison in the UK, just send them to Australia. That was like the halfway. But you know, the world is a lot smaller now, so you can't
send them to an off country.
Just when you put people out of sight and mind in the US, it unfortunately is, you know.
Yeah.
Right now, I think done in probably the worst possible way compared to most other countries. So yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that there are consequences for. At the same time, like the other side of that, I'm glad that there are consequences for violence against women, which I think has gone on, you know, in the genre and in the culture for too long. So I'm happy with that being a kind of a side effect of this.
Yeah, that's completely.
That's also a good point.
That's exactly how I feel too, Jasper. You hit the nail. You said it beautifully.
Yeah, I didn't think about that part. Good part. Moving on from that, then. So, you know it's coming. Kendrick Lamar, #1 streamed album.
That's interesting. That's
#2 streamed album.
Do you want to know?
Both of these are very interesting to me.
Yeah, they are. The Kendrick Lamar one is not super surprising because I bet that had a hell of a day one.
That is fair.
And you know, I listened to that.
#1?
#1's pretty big. My explanation for Nav being #2 is fraud. There's no other way.
NPCs.
Yeah, no, it's fraud. How is this specifically hip hop?
This is specifically hip hop.
Okay,
that's it.
But like,
because otherwise it's Ed Sheeran.
I do want to clarify that.
Yeah, because I was like, there's no way this is overall.
No.
Because like
Taylor Swift dropped last year.
Right. But like, think about. But like, I have a serious question for you, Purvis. Okay. It doesn't make you mad that more people listen to that Nav is #2 and it's not, I don't know, Jid, one of the most talked about albums in the last 5 years, and an artist you personally really love. Like, there's something genuinely fishy about this because like I don't hear a lot of people talking about Nav, and not as much as other artists who dropped this year.
So what I would say right off the bat, if it is fraud or it contains fraud, I don't think it's at the magnitude that we're assuming.
Oh yeah, I'm certain he'd be in the top 50 with zero fraud. I'm sure if you corrected, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure if you corrected Nav to zero fraud, he would be in the top 50. I'll concede that. Like,
even with that, in terms of the second part of the question that you mentioned, it does not offend me or make me upset if Jid did not get it. Now, what I would say in terms of this one specific stat, just singling it out from any other stat. This stat means almost nothing to me.
Yeah,
and the
that's fair.
fact that Kendrick is number one, I'm not gonna lie, make it mean even less, because even though we didn't necessarily say like, oh, this has no replay value or something like that, we did acknowledge that like this is really deep. You don't just play this.
Yeah, there's maybe there's a handful of songs that are playlists.
We weren't just sitting there playing Call of Duty and then go, I want to listen to Mother's Diary. That's just, we don't do that.
Mother, I Sober, and Auntie's Diary. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry, Auntie's Diary. That's my point. I don't even know what it's called.
You mash two of them together.
Jesus Christ, they're already enough by themselves. But with those two facts taken into account, like I don't think the stat means anything.
Yeah.
So I don't take it away from someone like Jid, Denzel Curry.
Well, I would
cheat codes.
It's
out there.
I don't know. Maybe just because, like, from my impression of like who's listening to who, like the idea of like Nav being above Jid, not Jid, like Denzel Curry, like that doesn't offend me at all. Like it's lower common denominator music. And the other thing is that like I kind of feel the opposite, because like the fact that Kendrick is number one, that is so surprising and kind of disarming. Because
you almost give it more credit.
I almost give it more credit. Yeah,
okay.
Because it's surprising, because that's what we talk about. Friend of the show, Justin Herbert, Justin Hunt of of the Breakdown. He has a whole video about like, it's just not an album you go back and re-listen to. Like it has been a cultural thing. As much as people praise the album and as prevalent as it has been on end of the year list. So seeing it at number one is surprising, but it also makes sense because it's like this had a huge fucking release.
It's 5 years since
it's 5 years.
Everybody
and Kendrick is a Billboard. He's a performer. He's a performer. He puts I'm trying to Billboard, like he gets top singles. I don't know why my brain's not making words right now. But like he performs well. Like he's not a Denzel Curry who gets like all of these accolades by critics and people online and the fan base, but then like just doesn't perform at that level like on the listens. Like Kendrick does put up those numbers.
So I have a question then.
Yeah.
And this is for both of you. Jasper, I want you to answer first. Drake is not one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drake is the most commercialized, the most replayed artist in the past decade. Yeah. Is that fair to say?
Oh,
Maybe The Weeknd, but also Drake.
Not the past decade, the past 5 years.
Okay, last 5 years. No, you're right. Last 5 years. Let's say that.
I don't know. Drake was very... Yeah, that's definitely more accurate, but he's been popular for a long time.
Right. 5 years, I could take that. So let's say Drake isn't up here. Is this because he split his interests? He has, honestly, never mind, he has Her Loss. If he put all his effort into one single album, do you think this would have changed the outcome?
I think that's impossible. I think it's impossible to say. I'm sorry. Jasper was supposed to go first.
No, you're good. I kind of agree, but I think that if Drake actually put 100% effort into any album he ever made, it would be far and away like the most commercially and critically successful album of all time, because when you have nearly unlimited resources and nearly an unlimited list of producers and people willing to feature for you, you could make anything you want. And that is not the case here. So yeah, I think it's just a combination of trying to trend hop and trying to do new things in a way that is really comes across as like, let's try something new and not necessarily really invest in it because we don't know how it's going to turn out. And that's, I think, what happened this year with the two projects. So,
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that's
because what you just described. If Drake really put 100% in on an album, it would be Take Care even better. So
and
you're
that's
right.
That's why we discussed already off camera, but that's why I don't like Drake, is because you have all the money and all the resources and all the tools to do all the things, and you make the pettiest music about just inconsequential things compared to your contemporaries. But that's just my opinion.
No, that's totally fair. Ugh.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would say the fact that Drake with 2 albums isn't number 2, that's another, like, there's something fugazi about this. There's something that doesn't smell right. Like,
it's all those people in Miami who just really like Nav. Come on.
Hold on.
What?
I'd be surprised that God Did isn't above Nav, to be honest.
We are looking up the top streamed hip hop artists.
Yeah.
Because
I know Nav
we're
is
saying
like top
this in
50,
a sense. No, but I'm saying we're saying this in a sense of, oh, just because it's not 1 or 2, Drake is 3, or just because it's not 1 or 2, Drake is 4. So I need to know what's the actual list. I'm curious. You got Drake, you got Nav. What comes after that?
Yeah. Also, what's the source for this? Is this just like a tweet?
Nav.com.
Yes,
like
nav.com.
No, it's not nav.com. It's like Complex actually saying this. I'm pretty sure you can trust Complex, Brandon.
What if it was nav.com? That's so funny.
Conspiracy, man.
Like, I think if nav.com put him at second under Kendrick Lamar, I think I might actually respect Nav more. Like, I'd be like, well, yeah.
See, the thing is, these stats are specific to Spotify as well.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying.
Huge,
it was Spotify money. So give you some preference.
I also think that might help.
Preference.
I think that also does explain the Nav thing a little bit better because I bet he has a bigger international audience. And Spotify is bigger in other countries.
What I'll say is this. I just pulled up the list of the top hip-hop artists streamed in 2022 overall. So this includes everything. Does anybody want to give a crack at top 5?
Everything?
Give a crack at top 5 hip-hop artists streamed.
Top 5? Oh,
What do you guys think is number 1?
Little Baby.
Little Baby is not in the top 5.
God.
Not even in the top 10.
Is it Kendrick?
Jasper? Kendrick is number 8. 2.66 billion.
Goddamn. Okay. In that case, I would go. I gotta say, I mean, obviously Drake's gonna be on there, and then I think Kid Cudi got on there with Intergalactic this year.
Drake is number 1.
Yeah,
6.7 billion.
Is this monthly or yearly?
This is from the year.
Oh, for 2022?
Yeah. Let me correct myself. Little Baby is on the list. He's number 9, 6.24 billion. Kid Cudi did not make the top 10.
Oh, if number 9 is 6.24 billion, that's not surprising.
Yeah. Let me get some other ones.
Post Malone.
Post Malone is number 10. Great guess.
Wow.
2.61 billion.
I would not even guess Post Malone qualified because I would say I think he's pretty much usually billed under pop now.
Yeah, it's just because he's got features and collabs.
Yeah, he did. And it wasn't the worst album in the world, but.
So you guys have got 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1.
What about.
So you're missing 2 through 6.
What about. Fuck.
No misses.
Is NBA Youngboy on there?
NBA Youngboy is number 2.
Whoa!
5.7 billion.
No way.
Number 2 behind Drake.
Oh my god.
I can't believe that's real.
No, not point. He is 1 billion behind Drake. 1 billion behind Drake. This man has dropped 10,000 albums.
Purvis.
And flooded the market. He is
never.
I mean, when you lock 100 monkeys in a room with typewriters, have to type Shakespeare, eventually.
Bro, the man did it. He had a strategy. He followed through. He executed. I could just shut up. I won't hate on NBA Youngboy dropping albums anymore. This album that he dropped tonight, I'll listen to it just because I was wrong.
Tell us the rest of the list because I'm not. Is J. Cole
on
it?
Wait. I want
J. Cole is not on it.
I still want to guess. Is there anyone on this list who is not alive?
Yes.
Is Juice WRLD on the list?
Juice WRLD is number 3, 3.7 billion.
Is Pop
That is
Smoke?
a great guess. Pop Smoke is on this list.
God damn, I'm a lot worse at this.
But Juice WRLD was a great. Asking if somebody was there was a great question. So now we have 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Man.
What about X?
Is Kanye on the list? Because
Kanye is number 4 behind Juice WRLD.
Because everything happened late in the year. So
everything happened later in the year. There's still people going to listen to Kanye anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's Kanye. 3.4 or 3.5 billion.
What about X?
X is not on the list
Jesus
anymore.
Christ.
It has finally been long enough where X is not on the top 10 list.
Well, he also hasn't had posthumous stuff coming out as regularly as Juice. Juice had that full album that was actually pretty complete, 2 years ago, and then the new single and stuff.
2 years ago. You got it. So looking at 5, 6, 7. You guys are getting it lined up.
5, 6, 7.
Think who dropped an album last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Think who's trending. And also think who's always in that top 10 list.
Is Bobby Shmurda on there?
Bobby Shmurda's not on the list.
Okay.
Is Cardi B on there?
That's the first miss. Who?
Is Cardi B on there?
Cardi B's not on the list.
Oh my god.
Also, there's no females on this list.
The second
there's no females. Damn, because my next guess was Megan Thee Stallion. Fuck.
Nope, no females. Megan's not in the top 10. I did listen to the album though. I like the album actually.
Yeah, Plan B.
Getting Half is much stronger.
Yeah.
Pusha T. Is Pusha T on the list?
Pusha T did not. Pusha T never gonna get the numbers.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know. We talked about that rollout for It's Almost Dry. That shit was.
We gonna get into it.
It was big, but I guess not big enough.
You guys are missing 2 huge ones. Think who dropped an album last year and is trending popular, and also think who's always in the hip hop conversation. Craziest fan base.
Oh, Playboy Cardi?
Playboy Cardi's not on the list.
Jesus Christ.
Craziest fan base that's not Playboy Cardi.
Who's the most consistent?
Oh, Tyler the Creator.
The most die-hard fans.
Tyler? Is it Tyler?
Even after it's not Tyler. Even after his career fell off, there's still fans.
Wiz Khalifa?
He's older.
Eminem?
Eminem, number 7.
Eminem.
9 billion. Eminem.
Oh, you know what? That's probably non-U.S. listeners.
Yeah.
You gotta think about it. Okay.
Oh, do not underestimate the trailer parks, my friend.
That's valid.
Yeah, I think Eminem deserves more credit than that, but let's be real about where those numbers are coming from.
So we have number 5 and number 6. I'll give you number 6 because you're not going to guess it. Number 6 is Lil Durk, 3 million.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Is this someone I listen to?
You've listened to this album, but I know, me knowing you, Brandon, you're not going to sit down and play this album. He did drop last year.
Is it Gunna?
It's not Gunna.
Oh my god!
It is not Gunna.
It's not Young Thug, is it?
You guys are killing me. No, it's not Young Thug. You know this. You're just not thinking about it.
Is it Don Toliver?
It's not Don Toliver.
Is it Travis then?
It's not Travis. Come on, guys. Dropped an album last year.
Oh,
dude, it's extremely commercial.
Dude, last year was so long ago. I can't remember it.
So do you guys both fold?
Oh, we're still close. Oh my god.
10, 9.
Who else dropped an album
8,
in 2022?
7.
Is it Yeet?
6.
No,
of course it's not Yeet.
All right. Is it Jid? I know it's not Jid.
4, not Jid. 3.
Uzi?
2. It's not Uzi. 1. It's Future.
Okay. That actually kind of surprises me. I didn't realize Future was.
No, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an idiot.
Has been.
Wait,
I feel like an idiot.
Forever.
Did I Never Like You come
yeah,
out,
it did.
I Never Liked You.
It totally did.
Year?
Yes,
it came out in May.
It came out
right
at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
right?
it came out
January, February, or something.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I thought it came out right before.
Came out last year. Was a trending album for a while.
One of his better ones.
Been commercial.
Absolutely, one of his better ones too.
That's what I'm saying. Always been commercial. That's why I said I know you've listened to it, but it's not something you're just gonna play. Future.
I think if you said because I have told you I like that album. I think if you had said you're not going to listen to it, but you liked it, I think that would have that would have been the thing that got me in.
Oh man,
God.
Okay,
that was
good
that
try,
was
though.
frustrating.
You get that 9 out of 10.
Okay, speaking of ranks, we got some records being broken.
Records? Oh yeah, absolutely. So last bit of news. SZA breaking records left and right and left and right and center and back. She's breaking on all kind of records right now. I love it for
amazing, so deserving,
worth it, absolutely deserving. Shout out to SZA. God bless her. Honestly,
God bless completely.
Whatever she's been through to make this album, whatever she had to deal with, I'm glad she is happy now and satisfied. But one of the most recent records that she broke, the first R&B album by a woman to be #1 on Billboard 200 for 3 consecutive weeks.
Insane.
This is just on top of many other achievements she's already reached for.
I hope it goes 4. I
love her.
Yeah, no,
I love SZA.
This is
like
one of the most
you can say.
One of the most talented artists, just period, like working right now.
100%.
Yeah.
She is working as a fine-tuned machine. Every single song she dropped is amazing. The dropout was amazing. Or not the dropout, but
the video's fantastic.
Actual rollout. Right, the rollout up to it was amazing. The music video. She's in a bag.
She's an artist.
A black woman flourish. TDE making a last run. I love it. That's all I can say.
I'm a fan too.
Super excited. But yeah, that's all the news. We finally caught up after 3 weeks. It's good to be back. Have Jasper with us, and you might as well get into our subject.
Hopping out of that rude boy. Wrist on my thing, rock star like Pink Floyd. That's what I got.
All right. Clearly, as the lyrics that he's been reading. This week, we're diving into Daytona. It's huge. So I texted Brandon earlier this week, and I was like, okay, we just had a huge release, huge event for the podcast. Let's just take it easy. Let's just do a simple deep dive.
Yeah, simple.
And obviously, Jasper loves Pusha T.
Yeah. Jasper, would it be fair to say Pusha T is your favorite rapper?
No, he is not.
Cudi,
he's in my top 5, but he's not my favorite. He's definitely Kid Cudi is my favorite. Yeah,
call it.
I'd say up until recent events, my top 5 would have been Cudi, Kanye, Pusha T, Tupac, and then
Tupac.
Tupac's good.
Who takes my top 5? Oh, I would say Travis is my 5th.
Purvis, top 5 now.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot, yeah. It's like there are definitely swaps I could make on that list. Like I could make the argument for like people taking other spots or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, but you clearly got a passion for the guy because and
he was your #1 album.
I'm the target demographic. He wishes his fan base was more like J. Cole's, but here I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that bar. I love this guy's bar.
Nothing. I was gonna say it's like Bo Burnham said. It's like just because I am self-aware does not absolve me of being an asshole, and here I am.
So I mean, I thought clearly as a huge fan, why not dive into Daytona? It's the last album before it's almost dry.
Yeah.
Very similar in theme, very similar in story, but has a different vibe to it. It stands at 21 minutes long. You have 7 songs. 2 features, Rick Ross and Kanye West.
Yeah.
Now, I guess what I should say, just starting off from the top, Jasper, do the honors as you are the expert, in my opinion, compared to us two with Pusha T as it is in your top 3. What are your thoughts on this album just opening up? Like when it released, what else came out when it released? What were your thoughts on Pusha T at the time? And when it did drop, what was your mindset?
So my Pusha T experience is kind of a lot like a lot of other artists I get into, which is where I know so they're like early work really, really well. And then I kind of have a dropout in the middle. And then I start kind of coming back into their later work. So I was always pretty familiar with Fear of God 2 and specifically like the hit singles off of that, especially like Trouble on My Mind and just like a lot of that early, like kind of the 2010 sound.
Yeah.
And then
Trouble on My Mind is a classic.
Yeah, I wasn't up on My Name Is My Name or King Push when they came out, but then I eventually like went back and learned them. I would say that like when Daytona came out, it honestly wasn't the thing that I was most excited for at that time because this was that very special kind of magical spring where these four projects came out of Wyoming. Was it 5?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Pusha T, Kanye, Kid See Ghost, Nas,
and Tiana Taylor.
Tiana Taylor. Yeah.
Tiana Taylor.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So all these projects, and I was
all of them good.
All of them good.
And this one dropped first, and I remember being most excited specifically for Kanye's and Kid See Ghosts interchangeably.
This was first.
This was definitely
the first one.
This was 100%
and Push
was Tiana Taylor last?
Tiana Taylor was last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Push actually talked about it.
You're completely right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He actually talked about it in an interview where he said, I think it was with Beats Radio 1, where he said like he wasn't sure about this format because all these projects were so short and so narrow in scope. And he said to Kanye, he's like, oh, well, you're going to make me the guinea pig, huh? You're going to like, see if this format works with me and then adjust at the last minute if things don't work out. And his wound up being, in hindsight, the best project out of all of them, in my opinion.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
That's a really hot take.
Kid See Ghosts?
Yeah. I would say Kid See Ghosts. Kid See Ghosts is also excellent. I would put it like near to on par. But there are some songs off of Daytona that I think just will forever be classics. And I don't know if there's anything yet off of Kid See Ghosts that I would consider a classic aside from Reborn.
Okay.
Wow, I think that's
you got me for a second.
Wow,
you got me in the first half.
Wow, that's funny because like,
I was like, okay.
Reborn's an amazing song. Reborn
is the classic.
I think it's the least classic on that album.
Oh, I agree. That was the anthem for that entire summer. Believe me, I was walking to the train, going to work. That was blasting in the hot sun.
Everything you needed right there.
Disagree. Yeah. Cuddy Montage, best song on the album.
Nope. I'm taking Reborn.
Stay strong. Those layers, the production on it, absolutely.
I'm not taking it.
Reborn. Look, here's the thing, right? I love Old Kid Cudi. I do. I love it as much as the next guy, probably much more. Like,
it's true. So for me and Jasper.
I was gonna say you might be outgunned in this department.
I mean, I don't know. Were you guys there at the time? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've seen him multiple times in concert. Like, he's in my.
It's just Reborn hits it like the
it's
soul.
Just, look, I'm not saying it's not an amazing song. But to me, it sticks out on the album as like, this sounds way too much like an Old Kid Cudi song. And this rest of this album is like this incredibly daring experiment. That's just like, look, I'm not saying it's not an amazing song. It is an amazing song. It deserves all the love it gets.
But Cuddy Montage.
I just think like for this reason, it is the one that sticks out as it's the one that sticks out as having any shade of a criticism. That's my
thing. So I think the point that I was trying to make, just to like make it a little more concise here, make it make sense. I think as a project, Daytona as a package has aged a little bit better than Kid See Ghosts so far.
I don't hate that. I fuck with that a lot more.
Yeah, that's like I guess what I was more trying to get at.
I don't
Because
necessarily
yeah,
agree, but I think it's a much more tenable position.
right. I think I would say that there are at least 3 songs on Daytona that are classic material. And I'd say that maybe there's 2 on Kids See Ghosts, in my opinion, and those would specifically be Reborn and Kids See Ghosts, and that's
Oh,
keeping
Kids See
2
Ghosts
for
is an
me.
incredible song. Kids See Ghosts is
Yeah, and that's the
fantastic.
thing, right? Is
Kids
people
See
were
Ghost
so
in general is
excited.
one of the better.
Yeah.
People were so excited for Kanye's verse on Kids See Ghosts, the song, because they were worried about, everything that had happened with Ye. He didn't really have any kind of like very metered flow in anything
But it's
recently.
crazy. It's crazy good.
It is, but the thing that people overlook of a very similar style is his verse on What Would Meek Do, and how that is equally, I would say, on par.
Yeah.
He
No,
snapped on What Would Meek Do. He snapped.
it's very
He
good.
snapped.
There are some of the bars. I feel like What Would Meek Do, like in light of recent events, feels extra like bad in the mouth.
I agree.
But
He did say,
no, I completely
he
agree.
did say,
I
yeah.
I completely agree with what you're saying. He snapped. That's an incredible verse.
This man really said,
And,
it won't feel right till I feel like
Phil
Phil
Knight
Knight.
calling 6 rings like what Phil told Mike.
Yep. Yeah.
No, like it's incredible.
Iconic.
It really is. Like
There's a lot of bars.
I do not
There's
argue.
a lot of bars.
Dude, me and Purvis would remember we would
There's a
always
lot of
say,
bars.
"What would Chief Keef do?" We were gonna make a remix.
Right.
what would you...
We were fully ready.
Yeah.
Like getting the beat and everything.
What Would Meek Do
yeah.
though is it is an incredible song. There are so many incredible songs on this.
Yeah. All of this is to say that I think Daytona, like as a package, has aged incredibly gracefully, more so than pretty much any of his other work so far. And I think it's because it's so short and to the point and cohesive. Just every song, nicely complements the one before and after it. And every single song on it, there's no fat, there's no excess. It's just trim and cut and to the point. And that's what I look for in really like, quality projects personally.
Yeah, no, it really is a lean album, and there's not a bad second on it.
I was about to say it. That's a great point of how it's cut down because it's 21 minutes. Do you realize I was able to listen to this while preparing for this?
Yeah,
like I'm not able to do that on another.
I
have to mentally get ready throughout the week multiple times and plan out when I'm going to listen to it. This album, you just turn it on.
I accidentally listen to this album, so like sometimes, like I'll just I'll just want to listen to If You Know You Know, and then I just don't touch my phone again.
And then 20 minutes later,
because it goes down so easy. It is like the epitome of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. This is such an easy to listen to album. And it hits so hard.
Verse, every song. What I appreciate the most out of this album, I think personally for myself, is how much the chorus actually flows with the song.
Yeah.
A lot of times the chorus stands out so much in rap songs because it's so much different in terms of like the flow. It so much stands out with something like hard lyricism and like a more melodic flow and like a more melodic chorus. Like this perfectly fits in with the rest of the album where like there's times where he literally cuts the chorus, like he cuts in with the chorus and he raps right into the verse. Like it flows perfectly. It almost seems like a 21-minute song.
Yeah.
Like that's how compact it is.
It totally does. Yeah, that's totally fair.
And it's worth pointing out also, he does all of this with only 2 features on a project that's this length.
Only 2 features.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kids See Ghosts is 2 artists, and Ye has, I don't even know how many features. What, like 4 or 5, something like that. I'd have to go back and look. I know he's got like 07 Shake. He's got Cuddy on one, and he's got he has at least 2, maybe more.
No, he definitely has more.
Louis Prima, Ty Dolla $ign. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
Most def.
Yeah, in terms of pulling his own weight, Pusha T does something here that I think almost no artists do in their entire career.
On one hand, I definitely agree with the idea that like Pusha T pushes his own weight more than most artists. He punches way above his weight class, 100%. I do not subscribe to the theory that less features is a better thing necessarily.
Oh, I agree.
Like, and that's just
double
something.
platinum with no features, J. Cole.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Like in a way, like there is an impressive thing to it. But like my thing is like, let's not pretend like Kids See Ghosts would have been better without Most Def on it. Like,
no, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, and also if there is a part of this, I don't think that there is a bad second on this album, but like if there's one part of this album I couldn't quote to you, it's the Rick Ross feature. Like,
no, that's valid.
At least to me,
I think with the features, it's just more so to do with like the fact that the goal is to make an album that is both popular from a commercial standpoint and also from a critical standpoint. And I think a lot of times artists in the genre get caught up in making something that is commercially popular, and so they cram features on to try and kind of really build that audience.
That's totally fair.
And I think he recognized that he doesn't need to do that and can stand on his own legs when it comes to this kind of thing. I think that's admirable.
Yeah.
Would you say that you prefer no features?
It depends on the artist. I think sometimes if there's no features, it can feel like a real slog. Certain albums can really feel like it's just a lot of the same or a lot of the same person.
Yeah.
Just the timing and the speed with which this album is delivered, I think it lends itself. But there are definitely artists or albums where I don't feel that way. I mean, I think Indica, even with the features that it has, that is a lengthy album and still feels long with a lot of tracks that are just cutty or less featuring.
No, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. I like think about something like a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, is there an album with more features than that? Like, and that thing is massive and is a breeze.
I think Astroworld and Life of Pablo might be up there as well.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like, I wouldn't doubt it. So, do we want to just do the track list? There's only 7 of them.
Sure. Before we actually go through, I have a question for both of you. If you have to pick, I know it's difficult with 7 songs. Favorite track, least favorite track, and why?
Oof. Comeback Baby is probably my favorite track.
Yes.
Which one?
That is the objectively correct answer here.
Comeback
Congratulations.
I'm about to go out of my mind.
What's that like?
I was literally singing that in the shower today.
Wrist for wrist, let's have a glow off. More like brick for brick. Let's have a blow off.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest things human beings have ever written down. Like,
it goes like the Rosetta Stone, the 10 Commandments.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe opening Crawl to Star Wars, opening monologue of Reservoir Dogs, List for Wrist. Let's have
Bought those Hondas. Took care of children.
Yeah, really.
Out of control.
Yeah.
We buy big boats. Bitch, I'm Sinbad.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. These are bars, but unacceptable.
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. It's really hard to pick a track that...
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have any worse songs.
I guess...
At all.
I guess...
Well, not worse, but least favorite.
If I have a least favorite, I guess maybe Infrared. I'm certainly guilty of sometimes turning it off halfway through Infrared, but that's about it. Like, it's not like a bad song by any stretch. You know, I do think like the weakest bit is the Rick Ross feature on Hard Piano, but I like Hard Piano as a song overall.
I agree.
A bit, you know, like...
Yeah, I'd have to say I'm right in the same spot. Comeback Baby is my favorite Pusha T song off any project he's done.
Yeah.
And then Infrared, like I like it, but I think that it also,
not,
you know, there's the whole beef, all that business that goes with it. So
and that, I mean, I think that stuff's cool, but like it's not like a slam bang finish. You know,
I agree.
It's kind of like
subtle.
It's like this entire album has like such forward momentum, and then after What Would Meek Do, it like it doesn't like crash or anything, but like it gently comes to a stop, and it's like
I agree.
you pulled that off very well, but that doesn't feel like the right ending to this project. That's kind of how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, it's very well done, but I don't know if it's the right move.
I agree.
Yeah, Purvis, favorite song on the album?
I'm pretty much the exact same way. I was literally singing "Comeback Baby" in the shower like today.
Come back, baby.
I'm
gonna listen
all the time. Like I was screaming that.
It's just like
"Comeback Baby" is definitely
dude, the contrast, like that sweet ass chorus.
It flows
and
in
then
and out.
like
The chorus comes in smooth,
and then like
the
just
verse comes
so
in
hard,
Smooth.
just
Beautiful.
Yeah,
just,
it's perfect.
Just plotting
It's
music.
perfect.
Like
it is literally perfect. Now, what I would say that'll be a highlight personally. If you know, you know, is one of the hardest intros to an album I've ever heard.
it's such a good.
It's perfect song, like tone setter.
It's so good.
Goes right into it. The verses are hard.
So here's the thing.
The chorus is hard. Like,
I have a hard one for both of you. I have a question then. Well, what do you think is the better opener? If you know, or Brambleton?
If you know, you know.
Because
I'm gonna take "If You Know." Oh, that's tough. That is tough. I don't know.
That's not tough for me personally.
Dude, it's tough, but I'm pretty.
Like, I was screaming that for a while.
It's pretty tough. It's tough.
Copping quarter pounds from the border towns.
I think if "Let the Smokers Shine" were the opener to "It's Almost Dry," then I'd have a fight on my hands. But for me, it's "If You Know, You Know."
That's.
I'm gonna take "If You Know, You Know." Personally,
I ain't mad at it. Like it's a difficult question for me, but like this definitely is like a better opener. But I think maybe Brambleton is like a song I like more. That makes sense.
Brambleton, I'll say Brambleton feels like the setup to an album that's longer because we were just talking about how Infrared kind of doesn't match the energy or the intensity level of the rest of the project.
Yeah.
It's like with a project that's this short, it's like everything is this energy level throughout, pretty much, except for that last track. And with It's Almost Dry being 12 songs, you can really see it kind of like is like a little calmer at the start and then builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And then kind of like maintains and then comes back down again.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Now
I like both albums.
that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
that
they're
both albums were in my
excellent.
top 10 of the year. This one was probably higher than It's Almost Dry. I think in the year it came out.
I'm trying to think what else.
2018 was a stacked year, though. Oof.
It was.
It was 2018.
2018 was the year that
Mac Miller, Astroworld,
Mac Miller, and Astroworld all lost the Grammy to "Invasion of Privacy."
Yeah.
Don't bring
that
it
will
up.
haunt me
Don't
for the
bring it
rest of
back
my
up.
days.
Don't
rest of my days.
I just
Don't bring it back
my
up.
thing is that I just maybe because of the Macklemore one.
Yeah, I know. It's 2013
It's like,
all over again.
I just feel like it's not as bad as that. Like,
It's tough.
No, it's a shame.
I feel like
it's clearly not. It's clearly not the best project. Like, it clearly isn't. I just feel like it's not as bad as that one.
The best comparison to that one that we've talked about is this year. If
Jack Harlow
won Album of the Year, there would have been riots.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I would say that might even be even worse. But yeah, no.
Or even DJ Khaled, either one of them. There would.
Well, yeah, no. But yeah, no. This was robbed at the Grammys. You know, I definitely preferred Kids See Ghosts, like just overall that year. But this may have been second overall because I liked Ye a lot more than most people, but I still like this more.
I think it's Kids See Ghosts, Daytona, and then Ye. I think that's the order of the three.
Yeah, that's
Ye's pretty good, but Daytona, Daytona's like you said, there's no fat. It's cut right through.
I think that there is a layer of quality between Ye and Daytona, and I like Ye. Like I like that album way more than most people, but Daytona is clearly better.
I would say that for me, Daytona and Kids See Ghosts overall are pretty matched.
Yeah, fair.
I definitely, for the first, I'd say 2 years after they both came out, I definitely liked Kids See Ghosts more. And as more time has gone on, Daytona has grown on me much more. So I would say that right now they're pretty much neck and neck. And then, yeah, I would agree that Yay is a step underneath that just because of the, I
It
don't know, I
doesn't
think
match. It doesn't
that and
match.
also the direction shift from everything Kanye did before that, it doesn't feel like a continuation of the same process, the same kind of journey. It feels very kind of shoehorned in. Kind of, I feel the same way about Jesus is King. Now that I mentioned it, but
I don't know if I feel
Jesus King
exactly
is
that.
worse in my opinion.
Yeah, way worse.
Oh, I agree, but I mean,
Way
it
worse.
doesn't feel like the next logical step in what had been coming.
I agree.
Well, yeah, Jesus is King should have never dropped. It was supposed to be, what was it called, like Yandi? It was supposed to have
It was supposed to be
Hurricane on
Yandi.
it. It was supposed to have other things on it. Like Yandi, look, if you don't know, now you know. Go to YouTube, look up Yandi video.
Yeah,
it is debatably one of Kanye's best albums that just never dropped.
Yeah.
New Body Plan with Nicki Minaj, all of that slaps.
No. Ugh. So
I guess one thing I want to say is looking forward. Because we talked about Pusha T and where he stands in that year individually. We luckily Gat is almost dry. We were blessed to receive that.
Blessed.
Where do we see Pusha T and where do we need to see him going forward? Because he's out of good music essentially.
Yeah, he's completely out of good music. And it seems like he's got stuff coming up. Like there's rumors that we're gonna get 2 Pusha T projects this year. And I gotta
be kind of insane.
And I gotta say, like,
kind of insane.
The thing I think we had talked about, like you had shown me, was him doing a DJ drama mixtape.
Mm-hmm. DJ drama's been active this year.
I'm into that. I think that's a good idea. Just something simple, grimy, and I love the albums for this. Daytona and It's Almost Dry are very polished, high production value projects. And maybe I think like a grimier lo-fi mixtape, like a DJ drama thing, not a SoundCloud mixtape. That sounds like a great next step for me. Definitely sounds like the kind of thing that, before It's Almost Dry or during the concert, where like, you would think someone who has such a singular focus in his art, you would think he would run out of steam by now, but he hasn't.
No.
I think like if he's going to keep that going, I think a mixtape's a great idea. I think that's a power move.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
He can stay within his comfort zone and expand, honestly, if you wanted to, because a mixtape is a whole different format. You can flex whatever you want to. Different styles, different beats, different choruses. You can kind of do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be buried down by a structure or a concept.
Yeah.
A lot of albums have to be wrapped up in a certain bundle.
They're products.
Whether it be a concept or something like that.
Mixtapes can be less commercial.
Exactly. You can do whatever you want. You can stick bars on it if you want to. You can spin to a whole new genre.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but this will pretty much be the first time in about 10 years Pusha will be produced by anybody other than Kanye, if that actually happens. Is that right?
Because It's Almost Dry split produced?
Yeah.
Well, true. It's split produced, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Primarily. Yeah, for sure. Pusha T does a fair amount of features though. So I don't see that.
He gets experience a good style or a good range of him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I guess, here's a good one. Who are some producers you'd like to see him work with? Because I have mine locked and loaded.
Griselda.
Derringer. Right now. Derringer.
Alchemist.
Griselda. West Side Gun, Pusha T? West Side Push? Could you imagine getting do and yak on the same album? Could you imagine hearing both of those ad libs? The world would end.
I was waiting for it.
But is that what you want too, or are you just making fun of me?
Every single artist we've talked about is just like Griselda, Score Q, Griselda.
Too easy.
Load it up.
Yeah.
You know who I'd actually really like to see Push produced by
Who?
is Working on Dying.
I'm unfamiliar.
Working on Dying is the Philly collective that did most of Eternal Will Take, and
that's a good production.
Also the previous project for Uzi. So Love Is Rage 2, I think they did a lot on.
Oh, I liked both of those.
Okay.
That's
I'm
cool.
for that.
That's cool.
I would very much mess with that.
Work.
Yeah.
What if I'm just saying, like, this is more of like a label, like maybe a label you could do a deal with and less of a producer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he wants his fan base to be more like J. Cole.
Oh my god.
Do a Dreamville album. Could you imagine a Pusha T J. Cole beat though?
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, how familiar are you both with Faith, the second official Pop Smoke album?
Not very.
Second official Pop Smoke?
So it was the one that came out.
Not the second.
Right. So Faith is the second one. It's the one that came out last year, technically 2021. And Push had a line on "We Made It," the song, where he basically he's featured on that. That album featured like everybody, but he says basically Tyler dropped the album of the year for now. Call Me If You Get Lost, but the crown is only for a king. They're trying to place it on a clown. Top about to drop. Real trap will stick in town. So I never heard if there was
a diss track.
I know, and that's what I've been thinking is like there hasn't been anything actually said about it in public. But I remember how public the Khaled Tyler thing was in 2019. I wonder would they be
that was a big deal.
Together?
That was a big deal, and also the biggest L I've ever seen.
I was going to say
I agree.
I don't take DJ Khaled seriously. Pusha T, I do.
Well, yeah,
but that's the thing is like I wonder if they'd be willing to work together again, given that because it was never I never saw it publicly addressed. I don't think Tyler ever responded to it. It just kind of was.
That's interesting. I have no idea.
But that's not like
Tyler has enough to deal with just because like
fact.
Tyler the Creator has played this role of being the outsider but becoming trending while doing so.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that applies his own heavy burden on his own career. He's already had to deal with DJ Khaled. I feel like he didn't have time, or maybe not even like notice that Pusha T was putting out a diss track about him. Because typically, when you think of Pusha T beef within the last couple of years,
it's very and it's very out in the open.
And bad news for Pusha T because unfortunately, Call Me If You Get Lost was, in my opinion, certainly album of the year over Faith, and also deserved the Grammy. So it kind of is what it is.
That one was deserving.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Another producer who I would love to see a full Pusha T project with, Metro Boomin.
Oh, agree. I was just
hard to ever say no to Metro Boomin.
I know, but I feel I know it's like a generic one, but like, come on.
What about Pierre?
Pierre be good. I like Pierre.
Hey, Pierre dropped an album last year. I listened to it. I liked it a little bit. It wasn't top 10, so let's not push it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
For like a producer album, it's him, it's Louis, and then it was Metro Boomin.
Yeah.
All I hear is Road Curbs.
Yeah.
So
God, this is such
Tapes was the best one.
This is such a stretch and not at all relevant to this conversation necessarily. But you know how like the past two main Frank Ocean projects have had Andre 3000 verses?
Yeah.
I would kill to see a Frank song with a Push verse. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that would come together.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's like, you put two artists of that caliber in a room, something good's going to come of it, but I can't imagine what it could be. But is
your heart broken? Sell cocaine.
Yeah, but here's that's what I did anyway.
All right.
But I just transitions nicely to like the question I want to ask you to, and then we'll probably give the grade and wrap it up. I definitely think Pusha T is talented enough to take his music in a completely different direction. But I have a hard time imagining what that direction could be. Do you guys have thoughts on that? Do you think he's going to stick on the same style he's been refining for the last decade? Do you think we're going to get a reinvention now that he's leaving good music? What's going on? And what do you think that's going to be? Do you have a preference? What's up?
For me personally, Pusha T, I don't know how he does it, but he is one of the most consistent artists there is.
100%.
Not even within hip hop, just any genre. Pusha T has delivered within the same concept, within the same style, while branching out slightly for I don't know how many years now. I don't think there's been a single album that he's dropped where people have challenged him or pushed back on him in terms of quality of what
people
he can
didn't
produce
like,
or can drop.
People didn't like the last Clips album. It was pretty negatively received, but that's like a whole other story.
Yeah.
Right, but that's like years ago now.
Yeah, that's like
also
25,
like a
25 years
ago.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fossilized.
Exactly. That was me like being a baby.
Yeah.
So
well, the fact that he's got Malice back or no Malice back, and he's actually on tracks and the Clips performs together, I think it's like worth mentioning. It's just like not everything has always been smooth sailing, but definitely like
yeah. Do you think maybe we see more
to wrap it
stuff?
Up?
That would be sick. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'm not against it, but I have no idea how to even lead towards that being the movement going forward. I just feel like if he stays within his bubble is wide enough and well commercialized enough for him to be successful in producing very strong, very consistent, very structured in terms of 20 to 30-minute albums with all quality. Every single line drops, every single line delivers. I have no problem with him being one of the few artists that stays within his comfort zone, if I'm being honest.
I agree. I think if there's an artist where I'm okay with it, he's it.
I agree. I'm also okay with it, but I think that if he were to branch out, whether it's in terms of musical style, or like maybe it's even just like who produces him, or even the subject matter, anything that he does do in that way, we're coming to a point where we're looking at an industry post Kanye, who kind of built his career in a way, right? So there's an opening in kind of like the forefront of pop culture figures in hip hop, who could fill that. I think Pusha T, if he plays his cards right, could do it. If he makes his stuff a little more mass appealing. If we need Pusha T's version of graduation, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I like the idea, but we're asking a lot. We are.
Look, I agree. It's not
graduation is not something to take lightly.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Kanye West, as terrible as he's been in the recent news, Kanye West's career is not something to take lightly.
Yeah,
it's not easy to achieve these.
Yeah, no, it's post Kanye West, but there's a reason why it's before and after. Like,
right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
agreed, yeah.
Let's do a grade, and then also, I guess Purvis, ask the question. Ask the question. I know you're gonna ask.
Is it a classic? Look, it's a simple yes or no. We don't have to dive too deep. Is it a classic, Brandon?
No.
Is it a classic, Jasper?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with yes. I'm gonna just say yes because. Personally, I think this is a little bit better than It's Almost Dry, and I think it's his best album, and Pusha T deserves a classic album.
I get that. My only thing is, I think I might like It's Almost Dry more. Like, I think there's something to be said about the fact that It's Almost Dry is a lot more sprawling, has a lot more of a narrative arc, and is equally as trim, equally as aggressive, like as I would say there, despite it having almost 2 songs short of double the tracks, I think there's just as much fat on It's Almost Dry as this album. And so like really that's why I don't like is it a classic as a yes or no question, because I think the question is like, I don't know, I gotta wait and see, because It's Almost Dry is less than a year old. I certainly can't give that a classic.
Clearly, it's not Almost Dry yet.
It's not almost dry yet. Yeah, it's true.
It's just
It's true.
in the presence of that, low-key, if we were talking a year ago, I probably would have said yes. Like
Before almost dry.
before it's almost dry, I would have said yes. Now I'm saying no. Just,
Okay.
Because, like I said, like artists that are so focused like this, it's hard to have multiple classics. You know, Pusha T is not the only artist who this is true for. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's this focused? In his
Who's
own
this
thing,
focused?
to
Who
one
has
thing.
like this much, this specific style? You know, someone like
The
Kanye.
only person I
who's-
can think of is like, and it's not to the same maybe quality, but Future. Future is
Future's a
very
good-
consistent
yeah,
in when he
yeah.
drops off. Now, does he have multiple classics?
Yeah.
That's up to debate.
Another Run the Jewels. I have the exact same issue with them. You know,
Perfect.
I think they have I think they have 3 albums that are better than most albums that are considered classics, but they're too similar for me to say that all of them are classics. I think they're in the very same position, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my argument. It has nothing to do with Daytona. It has everything to do with the larger context of his work.
Okay. Well, considering everything, because this is one of the few deep dives that we go into where we can now say, where's this artist going next? Because we legitimately know it's almost dry. It dropped. We all get to experience it. What do you grade this album now that you've gotten the we're available to experience an actual album and its future albums?
Oh, I give
and
this
where
an
the
A
artist
plus
is.
on its own. I give it an A plus.
So you still stand at A plus, even
100%.
after it's almost dry.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I don't think a second album affects its grade.
Okay.
You know, you take
Jasper.
I agree. I mean, it's easily an A plus because for me, there's nothing that it's almost dry does that expands upon or elaborates on Daytona in a way that makes it better. It's just more of this top tier style, top tier, use of subject matter and delivery for me. So I don't think Daytona is at all overshadowed in that way because it's not improved upon per se.
That's fair.
So with that being said, then personally, I'm not going to say A plus. I'm going to say it's an A because I know this isn't Pusha T's best.
Yeah.
Because he was able to deliver on the exact same quality, on the exact same output, response from the community, and it's almost dry. And it kind of diminishes, I'm not going to lie, Daytona is clean. It's damn near a classic, like I said. But the fact that he's able to do this at a consistent basis kind of takes away from it. I feel like he's not really stressing everything or pushing everything that he can.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to grade the album, but like I guess my own philosophy is like when we're talking about like a grade, it's like a grade in school. Like it doesn't matter if you flunk the next test. If you get 100% of the questions right on this one, you're going to get an A plus. You know,
It's true.
I feel like so that's how I feel about this. Even though I don't agree with Jasper, I definitely think It's Almost Dry expands on this in quite a few ways that I don't want to get into because we're almost at 2 hours. But you know, I definitely think like this is a plus album. You know, once again, like the only thing that has like anything is like I couldn't quote the Rick Ross part to you. That's
it.
That's it. That's as far as it goes. That's an A plus album to me. Like
okay,
you know, is
I
it a
think
classic?
we can settle at
we'll
A
see.
plus. I think we can settle at A plus.
Yeah, we'll see. But I give it an A plus.
All right, cool. Well, let's just jump into our recommendations then. Let's wrap it up.
Cool. Jasper, do the honors.
All right, 2 songs for recommendation. So I got 2 interesting ones. We were talking about EDM here, so I am going to change it up a little bit. Let me give you guys an EDM recommendation first, and then I'll give you something else that I've got on the back burner. So my first recommendation here is going to be I Got You, I space got space the letter U. And it's by Duke Dumont. And it's just a hell of a track, kind of walks the lines between like vocalized electronic and then also almost like a kind of like chill single. So I would say, super unique. Didn't get a whole lot of love. Hasn't had a whole lot of love for a long time. It's an older song. I think maybe like 2011, 2012, but super solid. Definitely recommend. And then my second one to take it.
We do round robin. We do round robin.
Oh, my mistake.
We're going to go rounds.
Easy,
right,
rookie. Okay. I'm going to recommend, this is a silly song. It's a rock song. Do you know how I'm like, usually like, remember how the last two rock songs I recommended? It's like, it's really silly, but then if you think about it, it's like serious. This isn't it. This is just full silly.
Straight up.
This is the rock equivalent. But it's so good. It is a classic. This is a classic song, right? It's from the early 2000s. And like the tone is, this is something you're supposed to sing along with and like laugh with it. It's called I Believe in a Thing Called Love by the Darkness.
Okay.
Like anyone who's even passively familiar with 2000s rock hits would know it. Purvis, I am dying to know what you think about this song because it's just the chorus is one of the catchiest choruses of all time.
Okay.
And it's sing-along fun. I imagine if you're listening to this podcast, unless you're Patrick Keane, you probably don't know what this song is. So go listen to this.
You guys put a lot of people on.
Yeah.
Okay, but I will check it out then. My first song, Brandon, you probably know this, but the game that I play the most is Rocket League, probably.
I do know that, yes.
I
see it
put
on
in
Discord.
hours into Rocket League now. It is kind of gross. But not to dwell on about the game, there is a famous professional player called Isaac App. His name is Isaac App. He went by the username of Turtle.
Okay.
Like an actual animal turtle. He was a professional player a couple seasons ago. He did retire. He now makes music. Really dope personality, great person within the Rocket League community. He dropped a song recently, about maybe 2 or 3 days ago, called Tango, like dance. Fantastic song. I loved it. It comes with a music video as well that features like a mannequin. It's almost in a style, I hate to compare it to this person, but Jack Harlow, but a little bit better in my opinion.
Okay.
But I always love to support like the esports community. So I'm always going to support them. I'm going to throw in Isaac App, the song Tango.
Okay.
Okay. Jasper?
Sure, yeah. My number two is taking it way back, 1982 or 83, I think. And it's a song by Tangerine Dream. That was kind of a group that specialized in, I would describe it as kind of like ambient electronic, and I would say pretty ahead of their time, very like synth heavy, very kind of like 80s sound, but not in the kind of like aggressive synth that we associate now, kind of. It's not Outrun or anything like that. And they actually did the full soundtrack for the first kind of breakout hit film for Tom Cruise, Risky Business. And the song's called Love on a Real Train, and it's from that soundtrack, but it's just a beautiful kind of like fades in, does its thing, fades out, and just like a really nice piece of instrumental music.
And if I heard you correctly, I could be mistaken. You said it was like a movie soundtrack, right?
Yeah, so this was one of the more popular songs off of the soundtrack for Risky Business. Yeah, they did the entire soundtrack for the film.
Tangerine Dream is great.
But yeah. I don't know if I've seen Risky Business. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Oh, it's a good
one.
It's
on Netflix.
It's a good one.
Okay, bet. Brandon?
Okay. My next one, this is a weird one. Not weird, kind of like artsy and underground. I'm recommending the song Soothsayer by Buckethead. Buckethead is an underground rock artist. He is a virtuosic guitar player. He is. This is a 9-minute long instrumental song.
Jesus, what the heck?
And is probably one of the most emotional songs I've ever heard in my life. This song brings me to tears at times. It is absolutely like mind-blowing how much raw emotion is in the guitar solos of this song. And once again, it's 9 minutes long. It's a sweeping epic. And it's like insane how you don't get lost in it. It's just pointed in a way. And like it starts very simply and beautifully, and then it just builds to like a level of guitar playing that is like so overwhelmingly good, it like makes you less popular as an artist. Like it is that is a phenomenon that happens like with certain types of rock artists. They're literally so good that they do not appeal to a mainstream rock audience. Buckethead is this to the extreme. I don't know if you ever remember. Did you play Guitar Hero as a kid?
I did play Guitar Hero as a kid.
Did you?
This is a song on Guitar Hero?
No, this song isn't. But on Guitar Hero 2, the hardest song on that thing was called Jordan, which is a song by Buckethead written about Michael Jordan. Like, because fun fact, Buckethead is like 7 feet tall. And no one knows who he is, but there was a rumor that he was a semi-pro basketball player. And apparently Jordan, he tried to walk on to the Bulls the same year that Jordan got drafted, and he didn't make it. So that's when he started playing guitar. Like, so that's where that comes from.
That's a story.
Yeah, that's a story. That's not a story you would imagine a rock artist having. Like...
Not at all. That's pretty deep. So props to him.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I'll close it out then. I've been going back and listening to a lot of Wale.
So good.
Back and listen. It's so good. Like,
dude.
He's one of the artists that just does. I feel like he never gets the honor that he's due.
No, not at all.
But besides the idea that like he dropped Flower Lotus Bomb or Lotus Flower Bomb with Ambition and the entire album kind of slaps, he doesn't really get the justice that he's due.
I agree.
The album that I particularly was looking at was the album About Nothing, partially a mixtape that came out afterwards.
One of my favorite projects from that year.
It's phenomenal in my opinion.
Once again, I love that like his just love of the show Seinfeld led to like you have this ultra talented rapper who just loves Seinfeld.
It just works, and it's crazy how we could take so many sound bites and put it in as interludes, as introductions to choruses or whatever.
Yeah,
there's so much that he puts into it.
It
comes up perfectly.
He had a show on some TV network introducing Seinfeld episodes.
Really?
Yeah, you could look it up. Like he would they would play like all the reruns, and they would do like a 5-minute thing with him like before it, where he talks like, or like maybe a minute, where he talks about like, I love this episode, which is like the coolest shit in the world.
Wow. Obviously, this went deeper than I understood. I didn't even know all of that. That's amazing.
He's apparently a Seinfeld mega fan, which is hilarious to me.
I
already loved Wale.
I've watched a bunch of Seinfeld, and
so
I want to go back and properly watch it.
Oh, it's so good. Seinfeld's one of the best sitcoms of all time.
I feel like Loki, and these are shows that my dad likes. Seinfeld, Frasier, all of them, like, just perfect.
Frasier's a very good show.
Actually go back and actually watch Sanford and Son.
There's a lot of the 90s sitcoms don't hold up, but man, some of them really do. Fresh Prince totally holds up.
Phenomenal. Classic.
But like Friends, I don't think does.
So Friends, I'm not a favorite of. Anything with a laugh track, I'm not really a favorite of. But I know Friends and its like influence.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we're doing a special on TV shows next, right? That's going to be our next kind of little episode here.
Yeah, we could. Like if we have,
I'm not opposed. We can do a TV show.
If we have some slow news weeks, we could. I'm just gonna rant about Community.
6 seasons in a movie.
Dude, I just finished rewatching it with my girl for the first time.
Amazing.
Dude, when the Community movie actually comes out, because it's being made,
you're gonna lose your mind.
We're gonna do an episode. We're gonna do 3 episodes.
Before Chevy Chase dies.
I refuse.
If we have Childish Gambino on this show ever,
Okay, if Childish Gambino comes back on,
we are asking
movie,
him
then
exclusively.
Yes,
we are doing exclusively. Oh, the rumor is that he's coming back. Like, and the other thing that's big is they did a reunion during the pandemic, and he came back for the reunion.
Okay.
Yeah. So
hey, I'm sold. That's all I need to hear.
Apparently, Donald and the people in Community are like very close.
That's good.
Yeah,
it was kind of up in his uprising, so I'm glad that he like stays in tune with it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like if you go back and like you watch the episode where like Troy turns 21, and it's like it's so weird that like when the camera stopped rolling, he's working on because of the internet. Like
like actually though.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's
wrap
it.
everything back up. The song is "One Time in Houston" from the album, amazing concept. But that's everything.
Oh my god. Guys, this was a very long episode. We're sorry, Jasper.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Pusha T waits for no man.
Yeah.
How long is the episode?
2 hours.
Okay.
Well, we had a lot of news to get through.
We're gonna have to learn how to cut.
Or
now that we have 3 people in the show, we're gonna have to learn how to shut the fuck up.
a little bit, yeah. I don't think this was too that big because it's like 2 hours, but we gotta take all the cuts.
This was supposed to be a simple episode.
Let's take that into consideration. It was simple. But how much prep time did you have to do?
Not much. I made the doc maybe an hour.
All right. Well, let's sign out, guys.
Oh, yeah,
it was great.
Cameras now. Thank you.
It was great.
Everyone.
Bye. I'm not gonna wave. Fuck you. I'm in my room. Like, bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye. Jasper says bye.
There we go.